It's the second set of their everyday cards, including yours truly. Yeah, there it is. There's. Wait,
Wearing the exact same shirt.
Yeah.
Was that intentional?
What is an EDC item you think should be carried by more people?
I want people to carry a personal first aid kit, but not one that you looked up online or just because it's trendy like an Altoids tin. I want you to actually think about what you would use day to day and what would come in handy in a first aid emergency.
And we'll move on to this last one, also from our subreddit. I think this is just like a really cool photo.
Thank you, Leatherman T4. Thank you.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Carry the Way, the weekly podcast where we nerd out about all things EDC gear and maybe try to teach you a thing or two while we're at it. I'm Bernard, the founder of everydaycarry.com, and I'm joined by our editor, Mikey.
Hello. Another week.
Yes. So if you're new to the show, welcome. Here we talk about the latest in EDC gear, answer questions from the community, and review pocket dump submissions from our viewers. If you've listened before, just want to thank you so much for your support. And also a reminder to give a thumbs up, to like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs and then I'll start giving away gear. Okay. So we'll do that. But first, we usually start with a pocket check. I think, Mikey, you will go first.
I'll go first. Okay. So I got permission to talk about this. I've been trying out a bunch of different slings lately just to mix it up a little bit. I have like a side bag. I have like a crossbody bag, like the Lululemon style we were talking about. And this is the latest thing that I've been trying. This is new from Dispatch. Our friends at Dispatch. Yeah. So I remember you talked about this. This is the vertical sling. So how it is it's kind of like a holster / crossbody bag, but it sits on your chest with a stabilizing strap here on the side. And this is a new version that just came out at the time of this recording, August 20th. And they have a new whole entire line. This one is the Dynamo one, and it's a bit lighter. It's a bit smaller profile than their older models, I think. And yeah, I've had this fascination of wanting to try out like a chest rig, just change it up also from like the normal crossbody style, just to just like go full tactical out on it. But I think this is a good compromise, and I've never tried. This is actually my first Dispatch bag, so pretty happy about.
That's your first Dispatch bag? No,
it is.
Okay, no wonder. You're so air pilled. I'm like, dude,
I know.
Dispatch.
But in this vertical sling is my new EDC. This is the Riot XOU, which I bought with my money.
Oh, you did get it.
And this is kind of like the most fidgety thing I own at the moment. I probably opened like close to 24 boxes with this now, and I've done this maybe close to 2,000 times. So there's this. And last new thing is I'm testing out the new Ridge click pen. Classic titanium, of course.
I can't even hear it.
I can't even hear it. So this is the first also silent clicker I've ever tried. So this is really interesting to me as a fan of clicky pens in general. So very interesting. Yeah.
Did you pay for that one?
Yes.
you did not pay for that one,
no,
because disclaimer, Ridge is our parent company. Just need to make that exceedingly clear. Okay, cool. So I've handled all of those things that you have now. I don't own them, but I've handled them. I have the old version of that.
Vertical sling.
Vertical sling. I think vertical sling is a better way to position it. I think you use the H word. I think you said holster. It's not really like that. Imagine
this is kind of like half a vest.
Half of a vest is what I would have said. Yeah. Half of a vest that has like a chest buckle. So it's a very strange, like unorthodox kind of bag situation.
I think it's meant to go under a jacket. That's some of their product photography.
It's very low profile.
Very flat,
yes, so that makes it possible, and I think it just lends to like more of like a tactical or like tech wear kind of look. I will say for me, like I think my frame is just too small to use a bag like that, and also there's a strange, I don't know, like mental mismatch, like mental body mismatch of having a vertical sling on the front of your body. Does that make sense? Because I'm so used to like wearing backpacks or like slings on my back that are vertical, like aligned with my spine. But just to have it on the front half with under load feels strange or like foreign to me. Not bad, just like not what I'm used to. So
exactly.
But it's very interesting bag.
Reason why I wanted to try it out. And they just came out in a bunch of materials. They have cordura, they have ballistic nylon, they have Robic nylon, which is the new thing as well, and this is
Yeah.
the very noisy, crinkly Dynamo one. So
Yeah.
that is the
I
new
think mine was
sling
in like
situation.
the raw silver looking Dyneema color,
Yeah,
not the black one.
that's
Yeah. So
pretty cool.
it was very like lots of visual presence on the outfit. So kind of had to really commit to that look.
Commit. It is
Yeah.
kind of like it's kind of like a yes kind of statement piece, but not as attention grabbing as like the actual H word or an actual chest rig with all the molly on it. So this is
Right.
kind of like,
Especially if you throw it under a jacket, it's more chill.
yes. So this is kind of fulfilling my need to try something a little bit different, but also still low profile, and also achieve like a very light profile sling type thing. So just trying something new. Richard over from Dispatch sent it over to test it out, and that's the new stuff this week. How about you?
Nice. So I'm still rocking my Ridge Light. This has launched, by the way, by this time, and I think Basecamp Orange is like selling well. But anyway, so I'm still using this, and it's just like takes up less space in the pocket, and I think I'm gonna wait for like the next kind of full EDC theme that I'm gonna go for, because right now it's like super all over the place. So yeah, I'm still like in the testing phase of like a bunch of different things. The other thing I'm carrying, I still can't show you guys. Sorry.
So close.
But I will. I know, but I'll make a whole thing when that's ready. And then over the weekend, I went volunteering again, and that's like my favorite place to use and test my EDC gear. And it's also the place where I realized like, damn, I need more stuff. So I don't have this yet, but I ordered some like mechanics wear gloves because I needed. I don't need it, but like the little nitrile and like vinyl gloves and whatever, they like rip all the time. They get all sweaty, and I'm like handling stuff. So when I'm handling food, I can use that. But if I'm like lifting stuff or like doing any kind of like heavier work, I want different gloves.
The pair of mechanics that I keep on hand is the one that's purely grip. I have one that's the cut proof one that's a bit thicker and a bit less dexterous. But the main one I use is the one that has like full grip. It's like a tire, and it's like kind of a little bit sticky. So it's perfect for gripping and for working general work stuff. And it's more low profile, a bit thinner
confiscating other people's belongings.
Yeah, just like pilfering somebody's pockets very easily.
No. But it was also extremely hot during that shift. Extremely hot, no sun, and like it's like around 85 degrees here in Los Angeles, which is like Los Angeles has good weather. Yeah, it was like quite. So I might test this, but Nightcore sent us this like fan, this electric fan. I did not ask for this. Mikey asked for this, and they're like, maybe Bernard wants a pink fan. I'm like,
no, that's a thank you gift to us.
Oh, is it?
Because they've been liking our coverage of the new stuff, so they sent that over as a gift.
So yeah, disclaimer again, this one's free. Like they didn't pay me to talk about this, but I just saw it in the mail. I was like, oh, this looks useful, and it's like this electric fan that you can like fill with water, so it can like spray mist or whatever. But I'm like already super damp out there. But yeah, this will be an interesting addition to the summer EDC.
Yes.
It comes in this little,
we are swearing by those these days. Yeah.
And I run cold too. Like I'm okay under heat, but like doing manual labor plus being in the sun, I'm sure many of our listeners like know that that's just like not fun. So might try that. And then, I think that's it for like new gear. I did get some other gear, but I'm kind of ashamed to talk about it. And it's not very EDC. It's more like desk type situation. But
all right.
When that comes, we can talk about it. Yeah.
Fair.
So let's jump into the news. But before that, Carried Away is brought to you by our parent company, Ridge. They're doing a massive sweepstakes this year, and the winner can get either a gold-plated Cybertruck, a Hennessy Velociraptor, or $100,000 cash. You can enter for free, but if you do buy gear from Ridge, every dollar spent is one entry to the sweepstakes. But you can get 4 times the amount of entries if you purchase this year's sweepstakes exclusives, like the Cyber Ridge Wallet and Keycase Kit, made with a sick brushed stainless steel finish, or the Hennessy Performance Kit made from carbon with their Hennessy blue stripe and logo. You can enter to win and learn more about it using our link in the description, ridge.com/carrytheway, and you can use the code carrytheway for 10% off your order, and it supports the podcast and everydaycarry.com. So let us know in the comments which prize you'd pick, the Cybertruck, the Velociraptor, or that 100K cash. Okay, so let's jump into this week's news cycle. The first thing we have here is from our friends at BigIDesign. It's the second set of their everyday cards, which I have right here. So there are 10 cards in this new set. And if you haven't seen the original everyday cards, I have them on screen now. These are kind of just collectible, sort of, they're like trading cards that highlight and celebrate a lot of, iconic figures and content creators and celebrities sort of in this little community of ours in the EDC world.
Celebrities, you say?
Yeah, like a lot of these are influencers that I'm sure people know here. We got like Notorious EDC, we got Melissa Backwoods, people you've probably seen on social media, making the content, just like having fun with EDC gear. And then in this set, there are 10 cards, including yours truly.
Ooh, fancy.
Who is that? Let's see if this can even...
We can have it on screen if that's not working.
It doesn't want to because it sees the real me and it knows this is...
Yeah.
Okay, well
there
you go. Did you see that? Yeah, there it is.
There he is.
Wait,
wearing the exact same shirt. Yeah. Was that intentional?
Yeah. I tried to do that.
Nice.
Yeah. So there, it's just like these cool cards. These playing cards, or not playing cards, they're collectible cards with different makers, and there are a lot of makers in this set actually. So I'll just have some B-roll on screen showing the different cards. But you got people like Ken Onion, Tim Reeve, you got Ramon Chavez, you got, who else you got here? You got Taylor Weldon from our friends at Carryology, and then me from everydaycarry.com. And it has like some art with us, some like a picture, like a portrait illustration of us. I have my like little EDC set up in the background. And then it says everydaycarry.com. And there's also just like fun facts on each of these. So they go by strengths, weaknesses, and hobbies. Nice. My strengths, I have making nerdy things look cool. Weakness, pronouncing brand names. So I don't know if you're here for like Nipex Gate, but that was that incident. And then hobby is fixing things till they're broken. So I do tend to mess things up a lot. So these are going to be really cool. They come in these like top loaders with an extra sleeve inside. So it's like all well protected. And I think the idea is like you can pick up these limited edition cards. And then when you go to different trade shows and events and meetups and stuff, you can have your favorite brand or designer or content creator sign your card or something like that, right?
Something to sign. Yeah, that's a good.
It's just cool. So it's just like a great project, and I'm so honored to be part of this set. It's awesome. And now like I'm this little card guy. So I actually have another set, and I think if you guys comment cards, comment cards or something, and then you will be like eligible, and I'll just give my extra set away, and I'll sign it. I'll sign my card in it too.
Sign somebody else's card. Hey, it's Taylor.
No. I will sign my own card, or actually, I will give you the option because maybe you don't want me like just signing this. Yeah, exactly. Just like this guy opened my sealed set and just vandalize it with his signature.
You went from a gem mint 10 to like a 4 to a PSA 4.
Yeah, exactly. Comment cards in the comment section on YouTube, and make sure you're subscribed and all that, and then I'll get you a set if you happen to be the lucky winner. And we're gonna have more information in our description on how to get these. These aren't out yet as of the time of this recording, but by the time it's published, it should be out for pre-order. And why would you want to get these, aside from like the fact that they're like really cool cards and they have your favorite brands and makers on them? You can also help support the channel if you get these. Like there is some deal. So like if you buy through our link that's going to be in the description, it helps everydaycarry.com. So
Cool.
And BigIDesign, just like a really cool brand. And then in one of these, like of these different makers, we have also included our friend Will. So Will Hodges of Tactile Turn is in this as well. And his says, actually, I'm not going to spoil his. I'm not going to spoil Will's, but I will spoil his latest release over at Tactile Turn. And that is the seasonal Vice release.
Nice.
Mikey picked this one out.
Yeah. So every 3 months, every quarter, Tactile Thorn releases a seasonal kind of colorway or kind of themed pen across their line. And I really, really like their system. I wish more companies would do this. It's a limited release just for that quarter, just for those 3 months that they're available. Everybody's eligible to get them. You can get them at any time. They're not going to run out. They're going to keep producing them for those 3 months. But after that period is done, you can't get them anymore. So it makes it both accessible and limited and collectible. So I've always loved, ever since they started doing this, I've always loved the concept of it. Just because I really hate the whole drop system. I'm so sick and tired of it across many, many hobbies. And yeah, so this is their latest one. It's their synth wave Miami Vice. South Beach colorway.
This is super South Beach.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is they made 2 versions of it. This is the first time they're also doing like a day and night version of it. So that's really cool. So if you prefer matching my colorway with the black or Bernard's colorway,
no, this is super me. Like I was subconsciously like scrolling through like the images, and then I saw this one, and then I clicked the next one, then I came back to this one. It's like, oh, that's really cute.
With the pink touches, that's exactly like and the teal, the gradient at the top, that's it's very, very, very Bernard.
And it totally works with like the whole retro synthwave sort of aesthetic. And I'm pretty sure like the Miami Heat, for example, use these colors in their jerseys and stuff. So this is Tactile's take on it. But like just aesthetics aside, what are we getting here? This is their side click version, right? And this is a grade 5 titanium machine pen as the base, I believe. And then it's Cerakote finished in this colors.
Most of their seasonal releases do use custom Cerakote.
There it is, finishing. Custom Cerakote.
The black one has splatter on it.
And then the other one is a gradient. Yeah.
Their side clicks are really, really nice. I've handled a couple of them and they're really, really nice. Really smooth. As to be expected from Tactile. Really.
Yeah. I don't have mine in my pen cup right now, but it's essentially like a normal rear click knock sort of mechanism, except to unclick it, you just tap the side button and it will disemploy.
Unclick?
Unclick. Disengage the pen.
I also like
deploy.
I also like the side click more than the bolt action because it's a bit more ambidextrous for me as a lefty. Because
this is a little bit easier to do.
Yeah, because the normal bolt action is mostly designed for righty people. The motion of that J motion is more for righties and for lefties. So I appreciate not button lock, the side click more than than the J style bolt action.
I guess the only, or not the only, but one disadvantage, or not even disadvantage, just thing to know is that it will be easier to disengage than a bolt action because it's just one click rather than
the whole motion of it.
Yeah, the whole motion, and it's on the side, which may or may not be more prone to like accidents. I don't know. So yeah, you have 2 options of 2 vibes. Starts at $159, but remember this is like top tier materials and really good fit and finish.
This is the best, pretty much the best you can get.
For like this sort of premium machined of like grade 5 titanium in this price range. And then there's also variance, right, in terms of length, so it will offer a different pocket and hand experience, going
and
from
also
mini, short, and standard.
Your choice of refill depending on the size.
Oh, that's true. The compatibility. These are not single-use disposable pens. These are definitely refillable. Yeah. So pretty cool. I think nice. I think we know which ones we would want. So don't have to go through that entire exercise. But this will be available for this quarter. So end of September. Yeah, end of September this year. So September 30th. Cool.
go get them because you can. That's the best part.
Yeah,
Go
see, I
get
can
them
click add
because
to
you can.
cart. That's crazy, right?
That's
I can just
crazy. Not
I
sold out
might
in
buy
five
this right
minutes.
now. Yeah.
That is crazy.
That's cool. Cool. Let's jump into our last piece of news. And remember, there's more than like 3 items that come out per week, right? So if you go to everydaycarry.com, Mikey puts in a lot of work writing up all these little news articles of new releases. So if you want a more comprehensive coverage of what's going on in the EDC world in terms of new releases,
So
check out
much.
everydaycarry.com. Yeah.
We
So
had a ton of releases lately.
lastly, this is a new Kickstarter in 2024 from Artisan Cutlery. So this is not just like some random brand or like this, just like one person starting up a thing. Even though it says it's their first created, Artisan Cutlery like is around. Their, I think the parent company of CJRB is just like a big player in the sort of budget EDC realm, right? Like some of my favorite knives come out of Artisan and CJRB. So this is the Wizard series, and it's launching soon on Kickstarter. It's most likely going to be already live by the time this episode comes out, and it's designed by Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, right.
That's
now
a funny name. I just said it out loud for the first time, and I get it. Dusty Rhodes. That's funny.
And he has a duck with a feather duster as an icon. That's really cool. That's really cute. So this came out of nowhere. Actually, I was talking with Artisan Cutlery about a different set of knives, and they're like, "Oh, check out this new one. It's gonna come out on Kickstarter, and it's by this up and coming new designer, and it's doing some pretty slick things." I mean, we've both held the premium end of Artisan Cutlery stuff, so they know how to make a super premium, ultra slick, high quality knife, and this is kind of like them flexing with new materials this time. So it's not really a common thing for the general release knives to use ultra premium exotic materials like Damascus and Damascus and stuff like that. So it's a little uncommon. So now this Wizard series is a triple release, all along the theme of Wizard. So one of them is called the Mage, one of them is called the Sorcerer, all Wizard synonyms, and all of them coming with different types of inlays, different type of exotic materials. So the Enchanter, I believe, is
let me stop
full
scrolling.
Damascus. So the Enchanter is full Damascus. Look at that. Holy moly.
With a mirror finish blade. So our Artisan does this where they flex and they're just like, oh, S90V, let's mirror polish the entire blade. I think that is fire. I have the Satyr, I think it was called. And that was a titanium frame lock, and it had this mirror polish S90V blades. Beautiful.
And for people who don't know what Damascus is, it's a combination of titanium with Damascus. So it's titanium plus another combination of steels to create the pattern while still having general properties of titanium. And all of them
anodized.
All of them get anodized and look kind of sick with that kind of pattern. And really, damn, what can you say? It's a button lock with Damascus, so they sent you some prototypes of it, didn't they?
Yeah, so I'm just looking at this information here. I don't think it's entirely accurate because it says stuff like this lock type is frame lock. That is not the case. I have the Mage here, and this is
that action sounded pretty good.
Yeah, this is a button lock, and it's skeletonized out, and then it has the anodized Damascus.
Even the Damascus is polished, really nice.
Yeah, it's nice and shiny. And then I don't know if it will catch it, but there's some pocketing out on the handle itself, and the collar on the pivot also decorated.
Double thumb stud.
Yeah, dual thumb stud S90V on this one. There's a Magnica version called the Magna Mage, and then it has Dusty's like.
I love that name,
icon.
Magna Mage.
Yeah, Magna Mage. So.
Farraga up in here.
Yeah, so this is what 3? Yeah, it says 3.5-inch blade.
Did they say? Did they say how much the SRP is going to be? I think you scrolled past the price list of what they're planning it to be. Okay, so 185.
This is very limited. These are really limited quantities. It's probably going to be closer. Okay, yeah, several hundred. Several hundred. This is 30% off, right?
Several hundred. But I mean, full Damascus, we were talking about rare materials last week, and the Mokuti, the Mokume Ganes, the superconductor
Right.
stuff. This is all in that tier of Damascus. When you're done like being sick of regular old titanium and aluminum and you want to just take everything to the next level, these are the stuff you're going to be looking at. And
Mm-hmm.
fully dressed EDC flashlights and knives and clips and screws that are Damascus or whatever exotic else, and just dressing up the knife to the next level. So it will command the price, and it's not for
Mm-hmm.
everyone. But I do appreciate that they have an option that's becoming a trend where there's a more affordable version of the thing and the super tricked out version of the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so the more affordable one is going to be the carbon, fat
Which is
carbon
still
anyway.
a lot. Understood.
Yeah,
I hear
yeah,
you.
yeah,
But you're still getting S90V with titanium and fat carbon inlay, so that's still within that range of.
yeah. Does it
I would say
say?
fair.
I'm sure. It's
Pricing.
probably grade 5 titanium, right? I don't think it would be grade 2 or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually rare for me to see grade 2 titanium stuff being offered. It's generally grade 5 titanium stuff.
Yeah.
Recently.
Because grade 2 is more like medical purity type stuff. Anyway.
And I also really like that most knives coming out these days are on ceramic ball bearing cage. And that just makes everything so flicky. I found that every like 90% of the knives that I'm getting recently that are coming with ceramic ball bearing, even the bottom, like the budget end ones, and the action is all so good because of the ceramic ball bearings. So I love that it's becoming a trend.
Yeah. This honestly, guys, this is my first time handling this knife. I just unboxed it to show for this news cycle. Like we just got it in. So I'm handling it for the first time and just noticing a lot of the details. Like the opposite of the pocket clip, this this pocket clip, like where the posts for the screws are, is also like extruded and TI or what's it called? Damascus. And then is
there a backspacer in
it? Yeah, and it's also
ooh, that is slick. It's also Damascus. Oh man,
yeah,
that is
it's got
nice.
like the little dimples in it. I think it's just skeletonized in that way. And yeah, you can see like the individual lines of the Damascus pattern on the backspacer too. So there's that, and it is a what this is called, front flipper. Yeah, so front flipper, dual thumb stud, and button
snappy,
lock. Yeah,
full flat grind, polished. Really sick.
Is it? It's not. This one isn't polished, or the blade isn't polished.
Okay. Oh, it's like satin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is like shiny and beautiful, but so I also didn't know how much it costs because it, like, again, disclaimer, this was sent to me to like check out and share with you guys. So I didn't pay for this, but I didn't expect it. No, I did expect it to cost that much. And now I'm I don't know if I want to like beat this up.
Oh
no, not recommend. Like, I think it will be a good value for people who want access to these materials, this kind of finishing. And I don't think you can really go wrong with the design and combination of features in terms of it being button lock and dual thumb stud, S90V, grade 5 titanium, Damascus, like that kind of stuff. I think that's great. But again, like, I do acknowledge that those are like definitely enthusiast ingredients.
This is an enthusiast knife for sure.
Yeah. So, and then if this is not your speed, like, I would check out their other company, CJRB, for the pyrite and like that kind of stuff, because very similar, but just like closer to the budget realm. Yeah, and very accessible.
We're talking single bill region instead of multiple bill region.
Yeah.
So nice.
I think that does it for our news this week. Cool. Let me know if you guys are interested in backing the Wizard series.
And which one you're going to get. Who is going to splash out for full Damascus? I've never been really much into Damascus stuff. Well, mostly because I like the all black stuff. But I do appreciate that it looks very cool, especially against the backdrop of normal gray titanium. Anything that color is just going to pop. So it's really,
I think one thing that's sort of not, that you can't really get from the images online, by the way, is the amount of purple and red in this Damascus. So in certain parts of the light, it looks orange or purple or red, but then in these photos, it looks just basically blue.
Blue and purple.
So yeah. So anyway, pretty cool. Let's jump into our questions. So every Monday, after like around when the episodes are released, we'll post an Instagram story asking people to submit questions. So we do get a lot of questions this week. Which one do you want to start with, Mikey?
Let's start with EDC Box Cutters. Opinions on them, because yeah, I did just buy one.
So Jonah.rmb asked EDC Box Cutters, opinions on them. And then yeah, Mikey, you just bought something. So
yeah, so I would recommend them to anybody, just because if you don't want to beat up Bernard's very expensive new wizard knife, you want something that's a workhorse. There are a lot of options now. So many options right now for premium box cutters that are fulfilling both the functionality of using the utility blades and also having some fidget factor or EDC factor to them. So we like the EDC's Tyrant, long been a favorite of ours in full titanium, and it's a flipper. And this is the Riot XOU. Very nice, very fun, fidgety gravity knife, quote unquote, based on their actual gravity knife series, but it's just using the standard box cutter blade. So I highly recommend it. There's so many options you can choose from right now. And what about you? Do you have a favorite box cutter, or are they not your thing? Or?
So I will respond to what you said before you ask me a question. Okay, I'm the host here. No, I'm just kidding. You said you would highly recommend the XOU, right? I will add a caveat to that. Like, I also think it's a great product, but would I recommend it? It depends, because, like you said, it's a gravity knife. And the reason I bring that up is because, like, if I'm like volunteering, right, and I'm just around a bunch of like elderly people, and I pull one of those out, like, or like they're like, "Hey, can I borrow your box cutter?" and I hand them that, like that's like no, that's irresponsible of me.
You slip it in your pocket and you pull out a different one.
Then I pull out the Milwaukee Fastback.
Exactly. And it has to be the same color. Yes. So they just do the switcheroo, just the bait and switch.
Yes. So as far as EDC box cutters, yeah, Milwaukee Fastback, I think that's like a great option for most people. I need to get a couple of those, I think, for that exact scenario I just imagined, because even I think like some of
the one I mentioned last week with the reloading thing. That's also
that one's crazy. And then the other box cutters that I've carried were the BigIDesign's Tyrant V3, and then like the Millspin brass one I had for a little while. And I do use my knives to open and process down boxes, but I admit that is not the ideal use case for them. It's almost just like I kind of just want to use the knives in like suboptimal conditions just to see how they do. But if I didn't have to do this for like, this job, I would probably just have one nice box cutter, probably not a gravity knife one. And then like one that I can loan out to people, because people always need them, right? So you can do either like the Milwaukee Fastback, which is fairly intuitive, fairly affordable, and can get the job done, or those like little, those like little ones that like you can put on the keychain, and it's just like this tiny little tooth.
I also want to
recommend those to people who I don't really trust with like a knife or something.
I also want to recommend the Slice series of box cutters.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, the ceramic.
The ceramic ones, and a lot of them are also, they also have an option for rounded or blunt tips rather than the sharp utility blade, like completely pointed ones. Some of them come with a blunted ceramic edge. Ceramic blunted tip, so it's a bit more safer. And they make models that are a bit more ergonomic and are pocket friendly as well. So that's another brand to take a look at. Slice, very colorful, fun box cutters as well. So I like those.
So to just sum this up for me, I think like EDC box cutters are great, especially if you work with cardboard a lot. But I think to replace your EDC blade, like a folding knife, I probably wouldn't do that, just because I think the folding knife is a little bit more versatile. It can process boxes, no problem. It's just not ideal. So it sort of depends on, what you value plus what you're willing to carry and spend on, that sort of thing.
And what you're actually using it on. If you're cutting through tape every day, then no brainer. You're gonna want you're gonna want a utility blade.
Yeah, but if like there's an off chance that like you need to stab through something, or like I don't know, scrape something more, you might want to Yeah, you might
or
want a
heavy
thicker
plastic. Yeah.
blade in a folding knife. I agree.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for letting me talk about my crappy
Yeah.
knife. Nice. So what's our next question?
How about this? Acelius underscore scout 0303 says, y'all carry guns? Lol.
Uh, we are a very big knife and firearm country, the Philippines. It's kind of like part of the culture here, a big part of the EDC culture here. I personally do not. I have friends and family who are big into firearms.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm going to be a full time firearm enthusiast. I am very interested in them from a mechanical and from a shooting standpoint, from a skill standpoint.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I do want to go to the range and learn and practice that skill. But really, I'm more interested right now instead of guns. I'm interested in archery right now, actually,
Okay.
as a hobby. So short answer is no. I
Mm-hmm.
can. I do have access to them, but I don't. How about
Yeah.
you? What's your experience with?
I don't carry a gun. I don't own a gun either. I don't think that's new to people. If you've been following along, basically, like since I started the site, I was like a college student in Southern California. Like, there's just like no way I would be able to get a gun in 2009, like doing all that when I started this
Mhm.
website. So, the website was actually started like not really about guns. It was for like all EDC stuff that wasn't guns. So that's kind of where my interest went to all the non-gun stuff, because there's already that was like the only thing people talked about when you look up EDC back then. It's obviously changed a little bit now, and I would hope that some of it is from our work that we do here. But anyway, I don't carry a gun because I don't own a gun, and I don't own a gun because I lived in New York City and then now in Los Angeles. So it's like I think now in LA I can get a gun. It's just a little bit involved. And one thing I want to acknowledge is that it is a big responsibility. Whenever I say like
Very.
something is a big responsibility, people are like, "What do you mean it's responsibility?" I just think like having a gun, even a knife, is like a big responsibility, and
Yeah.
that's not the things that I value. I don't think necessitate me owning a gun right now. So, for example, I don't own property. I don't have a family to protect. Right? These are like things that are very important for gun owners, and that's like a primary
Mhm.
reason that they own that.
I agree.
And I just don't have that in my life. So it's hard for me to justify the big responsibility and risk, and also like financial costs and all that, of gun ownership. Not that I have like anything against it, really. It's just like it's not for me. So that's, yeah, I don't carry any,
We do
but I know a
acknowledge
bunch of
that.
people do. Yeah.
Yeah, we do acknowledge it's a gigantic, it's a whole other world of EDC
Mhm.
and all of the associated
Yeah.
communities and interest and products associated with firearms. It's not been
Mhm.
our bag for the past ever since.
Yeah.
Um, I do talk about it a lot with other people and in those circles, but not in general EDC. But while also
Yeah.
acknowledging that it exists, I do have a great interest in firearms from a mechanical and from a skill based standpoint, like Taran Tactical, all of that, movies and all of that. I do have a great interest in that. But personally, even if I did have one, I would leave it at home or I would leave it at the range just for practice sessions. I wouldn't be actively carrying it myself.
Okay.
That's just me. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So thanks for that question. I hope that clarifies some stuff. So next, let's do mpost 2009. Shout out to mpost to ask a lot of questions. They said, "What is an EDC item you think should be carried by more people?"
Oh, I have a good answer for this one. I
Okay.
want people to carry a personal first aid kit, but not one that you looked up online or just because it's trendy like an
Mm,
Altoids tin. I want you to actually think about what you would use day to day and what would come in handy in a first aid emergency. And I say this
mm,
because there's a lot of stuff in my personal first aid kit that I simply will not leave if I'm traveling, especially, I always need to have something for like the stomach. I want some paracetamol in there. I want some band-aids. So very everyday common stuff that you're really gonna wish you had on you, or like an antihistamine, for
hmm.
example. Really common stuff that you're not really if you don't have it on you would be like really not disastrous, but really upsetting if you wouldn't have them on you. But they're
Yes.
small
Like,
enough that I wish you would consider them and
Okay.
they're very, very easily available for you to be able to put in a small first aid kit that you can carry with you.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Helpful for you and potentially other people, which is always a
Yeah.
plus. Yeah, you know what I would be putting in there, and I
What?
already do this lactase enzyme because
What's
that would
that?
be upsetting to my stomach.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm just lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
But okay, that I think that's a good one. Is there
Yeah.
anything that
Think
I
about it
wish?
and build one yourself, and try not to like follow everybody else's recommendation, but because it's going to be different for every person. Everybody's commute is going to be different. Everybody's traveling patterns are going to be different. And you may not be, if you're following somebody else's guide, those might not all apply to you. And then it becomes cumbersome and then you don't bring it with you. And then it's useless, right? So
Yeah.
make a list of what you think you could potentially run to if you're out and about, if you have an upset stomach, if you suddenly have a headache, if you cut yourself randomly off of something small, you're going to want a
Mhm.
band-aid. If you want, yeah, lactose intolerance, if you want something for a cold, really, really common stuff that you think is too common that it's not worth bringing. But then if you're in the moment and you have some sort of first aid ailment, you're going to wish you had that one antihistamine to get the
Mhm.
bug bites off, right? So
Yeah. So you're saying like not necessarily full on tourniquet because you're
nah,
not
yeah,
carrying like two backup mags, no medical. Like that's
I
not your
know.
speed.
No,
Yeah.
that's not my speed.
Maybe you just get an upset tummy. Maybe
That's right.
that's your speed. Okay,
Maybe just
got
have
it.
a little boo boo. It just need a
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, just need a small plaster. Yeah, that's how.
yeah. No judgment because I'm describing myself right now.
Yeah.
By the way, okay. So for me, I always say hearing protection and
That's a good one.
yeah. What is the other thing I say?
I credit you for giving Loop at least 1% of sales because you've been promoting Loop for
Yeah,
so long for
I
ear
have like
protection.
a pair in like all my bags and pouches and stuff. They are expensive though, so I don't recommend that you have to necessarily get like that brand or whatever. Like
It's
Etymonic
general ear
Research,
protection.
yeah, like Etymonic Research, Surefire, like who, or even just like ones from the hardware store. I think that
Yeah,
can come in handy.
let's protect your ears.
Mhm. And this is not really one that I recommend, but it's sort of a similar question where people will say like, "What is one unexpected EDC thing that sort of saved your bacon?"
Mhm.
And I see this, and I was looking through the comments. I think this is on Reddit or something, and I was looking through the comments, and so many people were saying like wet wipes for when I shart myself. It's like how come so many of you like have these bathroom emergencies where wet wipes save you? Like, yeah, wet wipes are great. Mikey carries wet wipes, but I don't think it's like he's like in that situation all the time.
I do carry wet wipes for
Yeah,
the times
and me
when a
too
toilet
in my
doesn't
car,
have a
but
doesn't have a bidet. So that's
uh
that's
huh.
that's a big cultural shock for me these days. If I'm traveling and then the country's bathrooms are not equipped with bidets, like the states when I was there,
No, dude.
I
I
had
will just
to
hold it or go home. Like,
I
yeah.
had to we had to bring my lovely wife. She managed to pack a portable bidet. Oh my god, that saved us so much
Okay.
when we were in the states for almost a month. Oh my god, not having a bidet in the state was terrible. But yeah, you guys have got
Yeah.
to catch
So
up to
yeah.
Asia
So
for the bidet
so
stuff.
M post 2009. Mikey says that more people should carry a portable
Portable
bidet. So
bidet. There you go.
that's the takeaway there. I hope that one was helpful.
Pro tip.
Yeah. Let's see. D3 underscore EDC says, how often do you rotate your EDC?
We're
I feel
forced
like
to
for us,
weekly.
exactly. Like for us, we're like, dude, what are we gonna talk about on Carried Away next week? Like we
Yeah.
have to come up with something. But I think if we didn't have that pressure, honestly, I could probably go like years between cycles.
And I know you also like very specific gear and then you beat them to death because they're your thing. I've noticed this with a lot of your staple pieces.
Yeah, that
Not
are
not just EDC, but also
yeah.
in clothes and stuff. I've noticed that when you like something, you're locked in
Yeah, this
and you don't
particular
mind.
shirt is from 2017. Like I'm still wearing this shirt. Yeah,
I remember you have the same Air Force Ones, the same Salomons that you've been wearing for years as well. Timeless, good
yeah.
selections. And from a long view, I think I have very specific EDCs that I use constantly, like a
Hmm.
very specific watch or a specific flashlight. The knife for sure. I've been carrying the same thing for months now. That lightweight fixed blade. The pen I've been carrying for over a year now. So yeah, from a long enough view, I think I do have staples, but for the nature of our job, we are
Yeah,
rotating them
we're
almost
rotating.
every other day.
Yeah.
There's some new thing to try. Yeah, but that's for
So
the
don't.
benefit of everybody else as well, not
Sure.
just for us.
Basically, don't do what we're doing. I
No,
think don't
no.
do what we're doing. I think there's this new trend on TikTok. It's called
Oh,
like under consumption core as like a radical response to like the overconsumption that we see on social media by people like me who tell people like, oh, look at this cool thing that I think is cool. And then people are like, so does that mean you want me to buy it? I mean, it would help me, but I'm not like telling you to. You don't need to. You know what I mean? We're in like a weird age when it comes to
yeah,
social media and like marketing and all that. So
yeah,
like I'm very aware of this, by the way. Just like even us talking about new products on this podcast, like that there is some level of just consumerism there, right?
yeah.
But to answer this question, how often do you rotate your EDC? The honest answer is we rotated a lot because we're testing different things. But like I think that there is it's totally fine and valid to not buy the latest and greatest thing every single year
No,
or like every release cycle, every hype drop. You don't have to because
no.
EDC gear, if you're I think if you're doing it right, I mean, you
Will
can
last
also
you a
do it
long
wrong
time.
if you want to. But yes, it should be well designed, should be durable, should be performant and useful over the long haul.
Yeah,
Because trust me, when we started this website or when I started blogging like 2009, there's not enough to fill a podcast every week with like 5 new EDC items.
and just for context as well, companies didn't start sending us stuff until like 2 years ago. So we were
Yeah.
all a lot of
Like
the stuff we had, we were buying ourselves, or we were testing them from other people, or we were borrowing them. But
or they
actually
weren't
getting
being made. Like
exact, yeah,
companies were just like, "Oh, COVID happened. I don't think we're gonna invest in inventory right now because we
yeah,
can't even like cover shipping costs because of the supply chain issue." You know, it's like,
yeah,
yeah. So a lot of this is pretty new stuff. So
yeah.
yeah, that's probably not what you're asking, but yeah,
I was not to speak for Bernard, but I do know Bernard doesn't really rotate a lot of stuff because he likes to choose really timeless, well built, reliable stuff. And I'm trying to also align myself there. Like I haven't changed my bags in a really long time. Most of my EDC stuff is just stuff we're actually testing for the site and reviews and stuff like that. But yeah, I do try and follow Bernard's philosophy in the choosing uh, fewer things but better. There you go. Fewer
okay.
things but better. There you go.
Okay, so so thank you D3 underscore EDC. I hope that's helpful. In a complete 180 to that question, Bradley underscore Jerg 17 asks, "What are your Grail knives you wish you had?"
Oh my god, I am gonna. I have one knife left that I want. I have one
Okay,
knife. It's the Benchmade Anthem.
that's what you
That is
think. Okay.
that is the last. If you were talking strictly Grail, that is not available anymore and
Hmm.
kind of exorbitant on the secondary market. I remember a few years ago the Anthem was going for 400 and that was or no sorry 600 and that was people were balking at that price saying it was
Hmm.
too expensive. Now it's no lower than 999 on eBay.
Yeah.
So and just to if people don't know, Benchmade Anthem was one of the first, if not the only, titanium integral
Integral. Yeah.
integral
Integral
that had
folder.
an axis lock, and it's to this day one of Benchmade's, I believe, finest products. The design of it is cool, the integral is cool, and it was an axis lock, so it's perfect for me
Yeah.
as a lefty as
Wait,
well. So
other than the Narrows, like another Benchmade, is there a Titan? Wait, is the Narrows even integral? It is, right?
no,
Or is it just very thin? Okay,
it's
sorry.
very
Then
no,
yeah,
it's
damn.
two
The
very
the
thin
Anthem.
plates. Yeah.
Okay, the Anthem then. Holy.
So
Okay.
yeah, so the anthem was a Grail 10 years ago. It's still a Grail to this day, and worse
Hmm.
now. So I have half of the equation. I have the Benchmade 42, the Balisong. So that's
Oh,
half of the equation done.
you
But
know
the
what's
other
so
half,
funny? I have that knife and I didn't even try. It was given to me.
I
So
hate you.
I know.
Yeah, so that was pretty expensive to track down the 42.
Yeah.
So I imagine the
The
anthem is
Anthem.
going to be
Yeah.
another year-long journey for me, but I'll get there. I'll see if I can get there. But that's the only,
Yeah.
off the top of my head, that's the one thing, that's the one knife I've always 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 wanted. So that's the last one for me.
Yeah, I like the point that you brought up earlier about your Grail being from what 10 years ago, or not 10 years ago, but just like a long time ago, and it's no longer available. I
Mhm.
like that as a criteria for a Grail knife, rather than just like some very expensive thing that's like sold now, or the latest and greatest thing. Like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
gonna aspire to this thing that just came out. I like the idea of something that like you can no longer easily get being part of the appeal of a Grail item. And for me, I was gonna say like the Peter Rossetti Nirvana, but then to add more to that, I would probably want the Spyderco version because Spyderco was my first EDC knife, so there's like a personal connection there, and I think that's also important when considering like what your Grail thing is. It's like how do you personally connect with it? So
I remember you put me onto the Rossettis. Those are also integrals, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought of
really
it.
nice.
Yeah, but it's a frame lock. It's not. Yeah, and it's probably a little bit big, but that one's really cool. And then speaking of titanium frame locks, I also kind of want a Chris Reeve, I don't know, like Sabenza or Nkosi or something, because that's just like iconic, and I think it like encapsulates so much of my EDC career. Like the zeitgeist of it was just like that was it, and it's iconic. We're like in a completely new era. I mean, people love CRK, but it's like it's just very hard to get. You don't see them as often in pocket dumps and stuff. But back then, like that was like the status.
That back then, that combo, which I remember seeing from the original EDC Tumbler, the combo of Sabenza with a Haiku, just those two, just like pure titanium.
Yeah, that's like end
high
game.
end.
Yeah,
like you're done. You're done back then, right? And to this day, I do still want the desire for a CRK has kind of waned for me, just because there's so much out there right now, and I can't justify spending 500 to 700 on an already limited stock of lefty CRKs. But I think it's still something worth pursuing, just from an ideological standpoint. I gotta own one of the original Grails.
That's how I feel about it.
Just to like, it's like owning a Rolex, right? It's one of those.
Well,
like
in that case, Seiko. I don't want it. No, you cannot equate Grand Seiko, Rolex, CRK in the same sentence.
But I mean that kind of like, it's one.
Like he's offending a bunch of different nerds and like different communities at the same time.
It just, if you're thinking of a product category and you have iconic Grails in that particular category, Rolex, Grand Seiko, CRK, maybe for there's a small set of products that are representative of that category to a very very high degree. So
absolutely.
that's why I'm putting those together.
Okay, so let's do a couple more questions before we move on to our reader submissions. Okay, so EDC Life E says, how do you protect against rust because working all day makes tools rust? So I can't speak to just like hand tools, I guess, but I would say if you're talking about like carbon steel knives and stuff, you can coat the blade with like food grade mineral oil if you're doing
there's a whole bunch of products that are EDC and tool and firearm centric that are designed to protect against rust. And on top of those products, like regular maintenance using those products, you just want to keep your stuff clean and dry. So if you're working all day, make sure you just clean it off, rub it down with maybe one of these specialty materials. Specialty liquids to coat the blade, just to make sure that it's fully coated and there's no place for the rust to form. And just keeping them dry and well maintained, I think is really the best you can do, short of getting a really rust resistant steel.
That's where I was going.
Which we can't always do for specific tools. Like you can't get like a MagnaCut axe yet, right?
With enough money, yes, you can. But yeah.
So keep them clean, keep them well maintained. Put food grade mineral oil if you don't want to spend a lot on the specialty EDC oils and coatings and stuff like that. And it's probably the standard advice we can give against rust. And if your tool has allowance to have something like Vanek Super Clean or LC200N or
MagnaCut,
very highly resistant tool steels, then that's the more expensive option. But you don't have to. Just keep it well maintained, keep it dry, and then coat it with some oil or some similar product.
Yeah. Or the stupid answer is just stop working then. Sorry. I know that's not an option. Anyway, sorry. Thank you, EDC Life, for that question. Hopefully that was helpful. I probably wasn't. Let's see. What else we want to do here? really quickly, Damon W207 says a single knife versus a multi-tool. If I had to pick between the two, I would just pick the knife. The multi-tool is pretty heavy for me, and sometimes I don't need all that stuff every day. So for me, probably single knife.
I would go small multi-tool over a single knife.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
That
I'm
makes
gonna go.
sense.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go Victorinox Midnight Manager, Victorinox for the nail clipper. I would go Leatherman T4, one of the smaller ones, so it's not as bulky as the pliers based ones.
Yeah.
But that's just been my experience over the years. Single knife I would carry as a function of reviewing and testing and general
Hmm.
interest, but I would still choose multi-tool maybe 80% of the time versus
Okay,
single
that
knife.
makes
Yeah.
sense for you. For me, so like even when I do carry both, actually, like a dedicated knife and a multi tool. So I've been carrying the Leatherman Signal for a while.
Mm.
Um, sometimes when I honestly when I pull out the Leatherman Signal, it's because I left my knife in like the other room or something, and I need to open something now. So I just use the knife on the multi tool. So I'm just like, and it's not as fun of an experience because it's like the thumb hole, and it's like, you know, that liner lock. It's not like super fidgety or flicky.
Yeah.
So
It
yeah.
is for a lefty. I
Mm.
can reverse flick on the normal Leatherman. So that's one fun thing I've discovered from from the recent ones. Yeah.
I think we can end here. There's another good question, but that might warrant we'll save that for when we have more time, because we're running up on the end of the show here, and we need to jump into our user submissions. So let's take a look at what we got.
That's a lot of great questions this week, by the way. We really just
Yes.
seeing them, we were already like formulating really fun answers. So
Mhm.
thanks for sending those questions and keep them coming. They're one of the favorite things for us to do on the show. Yeah.
Yeah, and OD Gringo last episode asked a really fun question, so thanks for that. But this week they're submitting this cool blacked out carry, and it says, "Won't you please join me on the dark side of Friday and post your
Yes.
darkest carry stuff?"
Thank you.
So we can see some more blackout bangers from the rest of the community here. But taking a closer look at this, we have the I believe these are Exotac Stormproof matches,
Hmm.
as well as
I forgot which CRKT model this is, but
I think it's the Inara.
okay.
Yeah, and then there's a some kind of bolt action
Bolt
pen
action.
there. Yeah, and then Kershaw Launch 6, I think that is.
Hmm.
The Olight i3T Plus, and then the Knipex
The
Cobra
Knipex.
XS. Yes, on
Yeah, so
some
a lot
sort of
of
Hank.
inexpensive stuff, leaning more towards redundancy and interesting use of the stormproof matches. I haven't seen those in a regular carry, not very
Mm,
often. And I like the
you
use
never
of
know.
the longer i3T, which is the 2AA, I believe,
Oh,
for
i3T
the
Plus. Yeah.
i3T plus, which is the inspection style, easier for you to do the ice pick grip. So I like that.
Mm.
And yeah, what would you add or remove or change anything from this carry?
No, because I think I align more with the Jedi side of things. But did
Mm.
you perceive like the theme of this post? Like with this like red accent light here, and then I don't know if you saw this, but there's a
Oh, somebody's
there's
peeking
Darth.
out.
Yeah, yeah. There's a Darth bead there, so I think
Yeah,
that's probably what OD Gringo was going for when he said, "Please join me on the dark side." Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, so I think this is cool. Um, I think that, yeah, this I probably wouldn't carry a lot of this stuff. For example, like
Not very
the
Bernard
yeah,
designs over here.
but I
Maybe the
appreciate other
Knipex.
people's. No, like I tried this already, and I probably wouldn't need stormproof matches in my everyday. Nor would I need an automatic
Mm.
blacked out blade. Probably, I don't even know if I can carry this length of this in California. I don't think I can. I would need the
Plus
smaller launch
automatic.
series. Yeah, that's
Probably
why.
not. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, cool theme. Base is covered. Different blade shapes too for different tasks and different sizes as well. Different deployment mechanisms. So when you either cannot or should not use this blade, you got this one. And I think the blade shapes, the sizes, very complementary in terms of covering bases. Right?
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
So it would be one thing if you just had like two, like you were dual wielding like Darth Maul, just like two of the same blade. This makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
To be complementary. Yeah. Last one, also from our subreddit. I think this is just like a really cool photo.
Thank you, Leatherman T4. Thank you. There we go.
So Leatherman T4, you got the Robivon E3 Plus in the what's this called? MAO,
micro
arc oxidation. I think that's what it's called.
That's right.
Yeah, so that finish, it does make it look like it's made of stone or marble. And then this lighter here, and then a machined pen, and this slip. So let's see. So this is a Chinese trench lighter. I cannot read Chinese, unfortunately. And Sean Design aluminum machine pen. Yeah. Then Falcon Leather Goods EDC organizer. This one, people were feeling this. I was feeling this, and I like Robivon and Sean Design.
T4, cool. One of my favorite all-time multi-tools. Yeah.
And what I like is just like, these are not, it's not so common, right? Like sometimes we'll talk about like, oh, what's iconic or quintessential, and then it's sort of like the same items and they kind of get a little bit predictable. This, not so predictable, but also still good. So,
and still color coordinated and everything. So good choices. I feel like these were all very deliberate choices, and I like how everything kind of balanced out. Both of your non-cylindrical tools are also kind of squarish, and both of your cylindrical tools kind of look the same as well. So you have some symmetry, you have some balance. I like the whole theme. It's very cool.
Yeah, and I think I'm curious if this organizer was made to accommodate these tools, or they got this organizer thinking, you know what tools will fit this exactly, and then they pick these. You know what I mean?
With the chicken versus the egg.
Yeah.
Did the tools fit the pouch, or did the pouch fit the tools?
Because like I see these two loops right here, and it's like, okay, well, this one probably fits the pen here, and then this thinner one probably goes with the lighter when it's like closed or something, and then there's like these more rectangular shaped ones, and I'm like, oh, that probably slips the flashlight and knife. Yeah. So cool. It's like a custom fit sort of thing. With functional and aesthetically pleasing gear. So that's what I like to see.
Yeah.
And hopefully our readers and viewers like to see those too. So you can find more EDC pocket dumps on everydaycarry.com. We do more than just the ones that we've shown here. And then when you go to the website and you see any of the ones on the podcast, and there are more that are not featured on the podcast, we'll have those properly done up so that you can get the correct links to everything in there. Yeah. So if you see something you like, you want to learn more about it, potentially even buy it to add to your EDC, that will be an option. And that supports the website as well. So
thank you for the submission.
So our next submission is from Pascal Manders in our private Facebook group, and they captioned this TI Tuesday, and it's looking like a good Tuesday.
Boy,
for
is
them.
It.
Yes.
Boy, is it.
Yeah. So what do we got here? I think we have front and center Para 3.
I think that's a Para 2. No, it's top liner. That could be a Sage. It's Spy 27.
Dude.
Because it's a wire clip also with a leaf blade. And if it's a top compression lock, then that is a Sage.
Yeah, okay. The Sage 5, I think, right?
Yeah, Sage 5 and Spy 27.
With could titanium scale.
Yeah,
I think
with
so.
Custom titanium scales, yeah. And a bunch of other classics. BigIDesign click pen. I believe that's a TI Arto, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wait,
it's one of them.
Yeah, the mini click pen.
Mini pineapple from Raylite.
Raylite, yeah.
I don't know. I don't recognize the Multitool.
I think it's a Fox Knives Vulpes.
Oh really? Oh,
really I think sleek. So.
Nice custom bead on it, and a Dave 2D approved GA 2100. Sorry, Casio. Yeah. Is it GA 2100?
GMA S2100.
GA, okay. GMA.
Yeah, so 2100. Yeah.
2100.
And then this is in a Skura Leather Workshop sheath
Mm-hmm.
with Elefante Hanks on the side.
How do you like that combination of gray with the ox blood red of the leather? That's not a combination you see often.
No, but it's for me. This is more why I appreciate titanium is that you can just pick any color to go with it, and it's like the perfect stage
Yeah,
for this to pop. So
gray.
cool
I mean, yeah,
contrast.
it's gonna technically a nice blotch of color is gonna go
Yeah.
perfectly with the most neutral color out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
But again, another solid carry. This one is, I think, on the like higher price point just because of the materials used, right?
yeah.
So a lot of like blasted titanium, more enthusiast level. So this is a little bit aspirational, I think. But as far as watches go, G-Shock's a great value. So
I haven't
yeah.
seen this 2100 before. That's a neat gray color as well.
Mm.
Slightly blue tinged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just like the depth of these G-Shocks. You can just like definitely see it here.
Deeper re-hot.
Into the dial, and like the indices kind of bridge that gap. Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're classics. The modern classics, the 2100s, the Cassiope's. Popular for a reason. Yeah. But hard to argue with any of these other picks. Fantastic. Sage 5 is probably going to be my next Spyderco. They released one in Rex 121 that I've been wanting for a while, kind of saving up for that one. And Sage 5 top compression lock is very lefty friendly as well. Plus, I really like the Spyderco wire clip. So it's kind of a lot. It has a ton of stuff going for it. So it's probably going to be my next Spyderco. So I love the Sage 5.
Nice.
And hard to go wrong with a Relight Mini Pineapple and any of Big Idea Design's pens. Very well made. And nice to see an unusual multi-tool pick as well. Not you don't often see a Fox Knives multi-tool.
Yeah. Would you pick up aftermarket scales if you get the Sage?
I was actually planning on building a cold steel 8010 with titanium scales just because it has the triad lock.
Yeah.
And it's supposedly the strongest lock on the market. And I just wanted like a super overbuilt but premium version of it. So I was planning on custom titanium scales. So I probably would. And also specifically for the Sage 5 I'm looking at, it comes with burnt orange as default scales, which isn't, I'm kind of over orange. So I am considering it, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not really much into modding my stuff. I like stuff like bone dead stock, but I may make an exception if it's means of if it's a means of reducing or removing a color I'm not particularly aligned with anymore.
Yeah. So this is kind of like a tangent now, but you mentioned that you're not really a fan of modding your stuff. I don't know where I lie on that because I used to think, oh, I need to mod everything. I remember my first, like one of my first knives, the Spyderco Leaf Storm, came in a Jade G10.
I remember that.
And I was like, oh, this is like an ugly color of green, which I regret now because I think Jade is like raw G10 is like so beautiful. But back then I was like, I need to dye it black. So I dropped it in Rit dye and like pretty much like ruined the knife, turning it black. But now, like sometimes I think I will just wait or look for a brand to make a very specific edition of what I want, and if they don't, then I just won't buy it. I'm like, I guess it just doesn't exist.
That's
right?
That's exactly my point of view.
Yeah, but I think I'm just like that comes with age, because like I just don't want to. I don't want to deal with like modding all the thing and like buying all these aftermarket parts. I don't know how like they'll line up. Like it wasn't the designer's intention to make it this way. Not to downplay Pascal's work here, like modding this, because I don't think this Spyderco scale is stock, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen other people mod their stuff, and that's cool too. But just not for me.
It does fascinate me, all of the mods that people do to their bags. They're changing out hardware on it. They're changing out zipper pulls on it. They're changing clips and bezels and different tips on pens and flashlights, and the whole knife modding community is there. The whole watch modding community is a whole other thing, and then beads and accessories. I see it. I appreciate that everybody's having all of this fun with the stuff, but just for me, I want it as the designer intended, fresh out of the box, as it is in its purest form, and I don't like to change that.
Mm.
I don't even change the wallpaper on my machines or on my phone. I
What a
change it
loser. No.
once. I change it once to something I like, and then I probably don't change it for the next
Okay.
5 years of owning that phone. So
I just
yeah.
had another thought of why I might not mod stuff anymore. It
Mhm.
might be because I'm not confident in my own ability to do so, right? It's like before, it's like, oh, I can just like try modding this thing, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But now I'm just like, oh, that's such a like a big investment of time and money, and I'm just gonna ruin it. Yeah. So like, I won't sign those everyday cards when whoever wins the giveaway by commenting
you
cards
know,
in the comments.
you know how entrenched I am uh in my perspective of this. I
Uh
get antsy moving the clip to make it a lefty for a
huh.
knife. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you can like scratch it up, bend it.
yeah. But then
Yeah.
when I do it, I'm like, I'm a modder now. All right, I'm done for the day. There's my modding, my EDC
Hmm.
modding cred for the day. Swapping a clip over to the lefty side. Yeah,
Yeah.
not for me anymore. I don't like fiddling with stuff anymore. I just want stuff to work out of the box in the original intended thing, as I saw on the website when I ordered it, and it
Hmm.
arrived, and it's pristine, and it's great. And if not, I just like you, I won't get it. I'm just like
Yeah.
next thing.
So
Yeah,
maybe in the future, if we try a little bit harder, we can be as competent as Pascal here with what they've
true.
done in this carry. So thank you so much for submitting to our Facebook group community. And
Yeah.
if you guys want to have a chance to be featured on the show or just on the website in our Pocket Dump section, there will be a link in our description of how to submit, or you can go to everydaycarry.com and then you'll see there's a submit your everyday carry link in the navigation bar there. So I think that just about wraps it up for today's episode. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Hit the subscribe, share with a friend, and follow us on socials for more. And if you want to be a part of our EDC community, feel free to hop into our Facebook group or Discord server for more real-time discussion with other EDCers. And lastly, if you have any feedback for us or questions you want answered on the show, you can always shoot us an email at podcast@everydaycarry.com. So thank you so much for listening to Carry the Way. I'm Bernard.
I'm Mikey, and remember, comment cards below if you want to win the Big Idea Design cards, signed or not by Bernard.
Yes. And until the next one, peace.